Well, Mike, thanks for coming on the podcast. We're sitting here at the Open Forum. I guess it's, the 7th or 8th year of doing this, and you're speaking a little bit later. I'm excited to have you on the podcast.
I'm excited to be here.
Good. Well, you know what more about it that I like is that you're in person, because I would never do a podcast with you over the phone, because the interaction with you in person, the way that you are, is so much heightened, emotionally engaged. So thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for inviting me.
So for our guests that are outside the golf industry, Mike Adams is, when we say the word legend, it's an understatement because of the number of coaches that you developed through your systems. How many coaches, if you look back, are under your tree?
Well, in the top 100, there's 23.
Damn.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. How did you get in the golf industry? Because you come from.
My dad was a golf pro.
Okay.
And I played baseball and basketball growing up, and I also played golf. Golf was kind of a hobby. The funny thing is that I kept winning the state junior, even though I was more interested in baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
And when it came right down to it, I knew I wasn't going anywhere in either of those, and golf became my highway to success.
So what was it about golf for you? I know you're a baseball lover.
Yes.
I mean, son, high-level player. You're an aficionado of a lot of sports.
Yes.
And I think it's probably what's created your platform of coaching. I don't want to say teaching, coaching. What was it that drew you to the game besides the fact, you're kind of underplaying the fact that the other sports, I know you weren't going to play in the NBA, but
I did play Division I baseball and
exactly.
Division I basketball,
which is
pretty good.
That's why I'm asking. So what drew you to golf?
What drew me to golf is that it's all individual. How much time you put in determine how good you're going to be. You didn't depend upon somebody else. You field a ground ball, fire it to the second baseman, and he drops it. You did everything perfect, and you got nobody out.
You're talking to a pitcher, right? I work my tail off and turn around, and the ball goes in the outfield.
Right.
Yeah. That independent nature, do you think that's why we have the number of coaches in golf that we have compared to other sports?
But
individually focused.
Well, I think because in golf, we actually focus on the person. In baseball, they're focusing on, baseball is still taught primitive. You and I both know that.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
And they don't use the biomechanics much. And, for a while there, you had, what's his name, Tom House, doing that. And then they went away from Tom House. But that's the reason I think golf instructors are better trained.
So when you're looking at coaching from a platform, you're very biomechanical. You developed a platform, but an educational system
Correct.
For instructors. Why did you move into the body so soon?
Because you needed it for every other sport.
Yeah, okay, so you need it for every other sport. But what was it in golf? Because probably when you started the industry, the body wasn't.
No, it wasn't introduced.
It wasn't introduced.
And then I was one of the first persons to use a camera, and then one of the first to use video. And I was seeing that the best players in the world were using their body, and all the teachers were teaching with the hands.
So where are we in the state of teaching and coaching in golf right now?
Well, I think that teaching is much better. I think coaching is still weak.
Okay. How would you change it?
I think that we need to get more. I spend 60 to 70% of my lesson time on the golf course. My job is to get them hitting it good in the range. Once I get them hitting it good in the range, I take them to the golf course because that's where the game is played, and that's what it's all about: is shooting lower scores. Not trying to look perfect swinging it, but shooting lower scores.
But isn't that as a golfer and all, we get so caught up in mechanics, right? And golfers are, as a pitcher, I understand it because once the mechanics go off, it's hard to fully believe in what you're doing.
Right.
But.
Well, just like a pitcher, when you release the ball, it has to be somewhere in the strike zone.
Yeah.
Okay? When a golfer hits a golf ball, it has to be somewhere in the fairway. Got to find it. And if you start losing your pitches all over the place, you start putting people on base, then you take velocity off, and you start having to ice your neck because hitting line drives over your head.
I've done that before. So, but the seductive draw of mechanics for golfers.
Well, that's because it is sexy, because those are physical things that you can see on camera or on the force plays or on 3D that allows you to see what's going on, okay? Technology has made golf instruction better because it's like being able to lift the hood up and seeing what's inside. technology. See, the easiest thing is teaching with kinematics. Okay, things you can see that happens, but understanding the kinetics, what's actually happening, you need technology, and without that, you can't. TrackMan and FlightScope made a huge advancement, and now Smart to Move and Swing Catalyst with the force plates made another huge advantage. The whole thing is being able to use the technology. It's a better set of eyes. That's all it is.
So is that creating the gap in coaching then? Because we can technically see what needs to be done?
Right.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like the medical model we often use. The radiologist doesn't diagnose and treat. Are we going to move that way in golf where we have radiologists?
Well, but there's people like John Sinclair
That's true.
and them who go ahead and you'll put you through a test and then allows you to diagnose what you need to do to change it. But, I mean, Tattersall does that.
Yeah.
That's a key thing. I mean, we've got some, brilliant coaches. Mark Blackburn, who you work with,
Yeah.
Terry Rolls, E.A. Tischler, Andrew Park. I mean, guys that are on the cutting edge of technology, but also understand not only the biomechanics, but the playing part of it, how to turn somebody from a good player into a great player.
What being around those great players, are there three main characteristics that you see, you go, that guy's got it, or girl, guy or girl, I use that as unisex, of that ability to take all that brilliant information on the range, that addictive aspect. Because I always say golf is the only sport where people pay money to do what other people train to do. So what is the one thing that, like, you look at those three characteristics and go, and those three things, man, you see that walk on your tee, or you see them out on the golf course, and you know they got it.
Well, first of all, they're prepared when they step on the tee.
That's a good point.
They have control of what the ball is going to do, and they're able to find it.
So the player that walks up and goes, I don't know why I'm here, I can't fix it. That's a tough thing.
That he's not gonna play well. He's gonna have the weekend off.
Yeah.
When I played the tour, I was one of the leading money spenders because I got a lot of weekends off.
You were MasterCarding it a lot?
Yeah.
Miscutting. Okay, so number two.
The second thing, once they have control of the golf ball and they're prepared, okay, no longer do they think about mechanics. They're out there freewheeling it and managing themselves around the golf course. They're able to adapt to their A, B, or C game and helping them to play their best. And the third thing they do is they all have world-class short games because you're not going to hit it good every day, but you need to get it in the hole. Golf is all about not looking pretty, but shooting low numbers.
Yeah, I agree. I tell people all the time that if we could look at golf like a heavyweight fight, where you stand at the end of 18 holes and you raise your hand in a victory, and you're bloodied up and your eyes are swollen, people see that as a negative in golf.
Right.
Every other sport we say, mentally tough, brilliant, a fighter.
Right.
And in golf we see that like they failed the aesthetics test.
Yeah, but now you look at, Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you spend a lot of time with.
And I was talking to Tiger the other day, okay? I said, you had a great year. He said, no, I had a good year, but I could have had a great year. He said, I should have won the PGA Championship and I should have won the British Open. He says, but I hadn't knocked the rust off yet. He says, the old Tiger would have slammed the door shut and taken home both trophies. He said, but I kind of had it in cruise control at the end. And I think that's the difference right now is the great players find another gear to close the deal.
Okay, so I want to go back to that because Tiger, I'll say it as an outsider, greatest ever.
Greatest ever.
Okay. Mentally phenomenal. Like
he had every aspect of it.
Universally unmatched.
Correct.
When he walks out of the U.S. Open or the British or the PGA and the British and he's pissed because he didn't close it, how upset is he, do you think?
Well, I would say just from knowing him, he's the ultimate competitor.
Okay. So where's he directing that anger at or disappointment?
Well, it's not disappointment. He's going to make himself work harder to get better because what he does, he's constantly evaluating his weaknesses and turning them into strengths. Where you see a lot of players are out there working on their strengths. They're a great ball striker, so they hit balls all day long.
Yeah.
They're not out there working in their short game. Last few years, I'm very fortunate because I'm at the Medalist Golf Club. The members that are at the Medalist Golf Course are like Tiger Woods and Greg Norman and Nick Price, and then you have guys like Rory, Ricky, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson. We're talking about the elite. We've had the number one player in the world most of the last 20 years has been from there. But what I saw, the reason Dustin Johnson got so good, his weaknesses was his wedge game, and Butch hammered him about working on his wedge game. He sat out there with the TrackMan hitting wedges for 4 and 5 hours. Same thing with Koepka. Unbelievable how hard he worked what he was doing. In fact, it's funny because last year I asked Brooks, because he's coming off an injury, and I said, because the Masters is the tournament that he should win.
Yeah.
It's fit for his game.
Yeah, it is.
And I said, Brooks, what is your goal this year? And he says, to win the U.S. Open. I said, you won the U.S. Open last year. He says, yeah, but people don't look at it as winning it on a U.S. Open venue. He says, and there is no bigger U.S. Open venue than to go to Shinnecock and win. And then he went out and slammed the door. And then
on a U.S. Open venue.
Right, the ultimate US
ultimate
Open.
one, yeah.
And then the same thing with PGA Championship. This guy is a beast. He is a phenomenal athlete. Dustin Johnson is a phenomenal athlete. These guys, no matter what sport they would have chose, they would have been a superstar in.
Yeah.
And they smash it. They find it.
Do they obsess about the little things? Like I know with my guys, I know what gets them, but those guys,
they don't.
They don't, huh?
They let that things go. It doesn't have to be perfect for them to win.
That's ultimate belief, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, because all they have to do is, if they can find it, they can beat everybody else. I mean, what makes Jordan Spieth so good?
He's a grinder.
Right, but he doesn't. I mean, he is in the hunt every year at the Masters. Even when he's hitting it bad, he's going into the last day with a chance to win.
When he won the British Open 2, 3, whatever that was, his discussion on 14, 13, whatever number it was, when he didn't have it, he was just hanging in there until it found it. Like he wasn't sending out a search party for his game. He was just playing the game.
But what he was doing was waiting for a sign.
Yes.
Once I hit that one shot, I knew that I was going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, remember Phil when he won?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing.
The great players are able to find that sign and turn it onto another gear and make it.
They're not worried about what signs are saying about their game.
Right.
They're looking for their next level gear.
Right.
Their next level sign to say, now it's time to kick your ass.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do you watch a great player start off hitting the ball terrible, then all of a sudden finding it in the round, then all of a sudden they roll off 5, 6, 7 birdies and they blow the field away?
Yeah, a lot.
And they didn't have it when they started.
So to that point, we've got so many people who are, so many parents that are investing in their kids' games that listen to this podcast, that are in that, and they look at these great athletes and they think what they have to do to get their kid in that position.
Okay, here's a big problem. People get out there and they have to be hitting it perfect or swinging it perfect before they feel worthy to shoot a good score. They go on out there without being in the zone, and they go and won't allow themselves to shoot a good score because I'm not hitting it good enough. I'm not scoring. I'm not swinging perfect enough. So they don't allow themselves to play to their potential. What needs to happen is the great players, they don't have to hit it great. They just need to be able to find it and be able to predict what's going to happen. As long as they can repeat it, they can beat everybody.
Yeah, even if it's a big push or something like that, they can play with it.
We just got done playing at what used to be the Bob Hope, okay?
Yeah.
Remember Corey Pavin winning that tournament on 18?
Yeah.
He hit it over the leg and slicing it back in, knowing it was going to come back, and just so he could win it. And then hit it over the leg, knocking it 15 feet, making the birdie putt.
Well, that's Dustin at when he won Oakmont.
Oh, yeah.
He hit that high, hard, I won't call it a cut.
Yeah,
it was a cut error.
It was a push cut.
Yeah, it was moving. But it was a smart play because he knew what he had on that day.
Right.
So
okay, ultimate coach, Butch Harmon.
Okay, why?
Because Butch Harmon he's got magic dust. He's able to sprinkle that magic dust on his players and make them play good. Because he gets them to a point, he prepares them, every single one of them, to play their best golf. Okay, when they're out there, he gives them a shot pattern that they can trust and they know that they can repeat. And when they get in the hunt, he has given them a cue on how they can close the deal. He's the best. He's unbelievable. The ultimate technician, David Ledbetter. David Ledbetter builds phenomenal golf swings. Everybody comes out of there with phenomenal golf swings, and he's able to make them win. But you put a combination of Butch and David, you have the perfect golf coach.
Yeah.
And, you know, both are super successful.
Okay. All right. You come from other sports.
Yep.
You've trained God knows how many outside the top 100. What is the coaching model for you? Because I get asked all the time. I want to coach. I want to lead. I want to bring the next generation of golf coach up.
Okay. You have to be like Mike McGettrick.
Yes.
Mike.
I'm surprised Scott Fawcett's not yelling at us.
Mike used to work for me.
Hey, Mike.
And
how you doing? I'm Brett McCabe. Good to see you. Absolutely.
Mike's got his girls have won 18 major championships.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a Hall of Fame quality coach.
Absolutely.
Been National Teacher of the Year. What he does is he is a phenomenal coach and teacher.
You know, I look at other sports. I've been around so many national championships, and I've been a part of national championships. I've been around other great leaderships, successes, and I wonder, like, could we? Okay.
Okay. Meg Mellon, who Mike taught, okay,
Yeah.
her whole career, won a ton of majors, okay? Meg coming out of college didn't hit it good enough to be a great player. But Meg had a belief in herself and had a champion's attitude, and she could grind it out. Mike taught her how to hit it. Once she knew how to hit it, she gave herself permission to win.
All right, so let me dig in here then. Is that sitting there pumping somebody up from behind going, you're the best, you're the best? Is that hard coaching? Is that high demands? What is that model that you like?
Okay, with the great coaches and great teachers are able to figure out what the missing ingredient is with a player to move him to the next level. If we only work on golf swing and
we're failing them.
We're failing them. So we have to look at what is missing, okay? Tom Purtzer, one of the greatest ball strikers of all time, terrible short game. All he worked on was ball striking, okay?
Yeah, I know.
If he had put the time in on managing his game and short game, this guy would have been one of the all-time great players.
Yep. Yeah, I don't disagree. Best ball strike concession I've ever seen on a range was Tom Purtzer.
Well, he's one of the best.
Yeah, one of the best. All right, what does 2019 hold for Mike Adams and his team?
Well, right now, Terry Rolls and I are finishing up 2 books.
Okay.
And once we get those out, pretty much what we've been researching, we've been very fortunate. We've had, Scott Lynn and J.P. Fernandez and Paul Wood and Phil Cheatham and Sasha McKenzie and Mike Duffy research what we've been teaching. Because I don't want it to be my opinion. I want it to be factual. And what they've done is they've gone through it and told us what was correct and what wasn't, and we changed what wasn't, and we've because I don't want it to be my opinion.
Okay, so can I ask you that then? Because it's not your opinion. I know where you're going with that. Is all this argument in the teaching world good for the game?
No.
How do we stop it? Because it's unbelievable.
It is. There's too much hate. We need to come together and build people up. My job is the next generation. I don't charge people to come watch me teach. I have 3-4 people watch me teach every single lesson. The reason because I want them to become better teachers. I feel I have to give something back to the industry. I've been fortunate. I mean, I was named National Teacher of the Year, got named to the World Golf Hall of Fame, and ranked number 2 in the world. That's all because of other people. I stand on the shoulders of giants. It's people that came before me that allowed me to move to the next level. And, I've had encouragement, and I've got nothing is original as far as thoughts. We get things from other people, and we're able to keep growing the game.
Yeah. Interesting. So the reason I said interesting, I was sitting here thinking about you. First time I ever met you, I was speaking at a Aim Point convention at Cassique in South Carolina, and I give the talk. I don't know anybody in the golf industry. I don't know a soul. Missy, my wife, and I talk and laugh all the time. Here we are with my team of 7. Now we're here and doing great stuff. And Missy and I used to walk the halls of this convention and not know a soul. I had to bump into people and say, oh, I'm sorry, and whatever. So I go to that convention, and I'm like, God almighty, there's this dude that just keeps getting up out of his seat to leave the talk. I'm like, I have pissed this guy off royally. And you came up to me immediately after like, that was fantastic. Thanks so much. And you've always been a great influence. And what got me watching you after that, your mind works so fast that I've got to imagine you've had to sharpen your tool as a teacher, because the amount of what I'm saying is you kept getting up because I think you were taking in information, but it was like you'd already gotten it. You were moving on to something else. When you're teaching somebody, I bet it's hard for you to not jump all in on what you see.
Originally it was.
I got to imagine it was brutal for you.
Yeah, and also to dummy down my explanations.
Yeah.
Uh,
For the listener, Mike is, and nobody. I'm gonna look away when I say this from him. Mike's one of the smartest human beings you'll ever be around. And rumor true about SAT score?
1,600, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People don't do that by accident. Okay, so
My son says he's smarter.
Yeah, well,
He went to Yale.
I was about to say he's doing pretty well for himself right now. So, but your ability to cipher out that information, become a coach, is what's led to your success.
Well, I'm blessed with a pretty good mind. I'm blessed with a photographic memory, and I'm blessed with an inquiring mind. I'm always asking questions. I want to understand what's going on. So, 30 years ago, I was doing stuff with Chuck Dillman, who was a biomechanist for the U.S. Olympic team, because I wanted to know what was happening. I didn't want to guess. I wanted to know what was actually happening. Because if you're guessing, you're not helping the student.
Are you a reader?
I read everything I can get my hands on.
What are you reading right now? What's a book that's outside the golf industry that's got your attention?
I'll send you a copy of it.
Okay. What's a book that every golf coach should read?
Yours.
Mine, thank you.
No, seriously, yours.
Well, thank you.
And
I'll send you an advanced copy of the one I'm writing right now. You'll like it.
I love Lennon Pia's last book.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about Scott Fawcett. Scott Fawcett is huge to making golfers better.
Yeah, I agree.
And Mark Sweeney, who's one of my best friends and one of your
Yep.
best friends. Mark has made inroads into making people better. It's all about people outside the industry, like yourself, like Scott, like Sweeney, like who are all of a sudden developing things that are making our job easier.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt. I mean, it is interesting. I was sitting around watching yesterday at the PGA Teaching and Coaching Summit, the number of outsiders that are in the industry now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of them. I'm an outsider, right?
But all the biomechanists.
Yeah. It's amazing. Thank you for everything you've done for me.
Well, thank you for everything you've done for me.
Oh.
You helped me make my students better, and that's why I'm constantly calling you up.
Yeah.
Say, I got this person who needs to come see you.
Well, thank you.
And you do, and you know what? You've done a phenomenal job with every single one of them.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for doing this podcast.
Thanks.
Thanks, boss. Thank you. Cool.